Okay, there we go.
Okay, thank you so
We're
much
on.
for joining us. We're really excited. We're doing a new collaboration with Southwest Family Guidance Center that's allowing us to help their foster families with tech issues and just kind of teach them what we can about technology and getting everyone connected as much as we can in New Mexico. So with that, I'll let Jillian, our lovely instructor, take it from here.
Hi guys, thank you very much, Trish. Hi everyone, I'm Jillian. I'm the one who you quite often talk to if you're gonna book Teenior session, at least at the moment. I'm Trish's assistant. And I'm gonna be teaching this class today. Outside of being Trish's assistant, prior to COVID, I also work in our local library out here in Edgewood, and am very familiar with the public library system and all of the different public library apps. So this class is going to cover what you can do online with your public library, all of the different research options that you can find, all the different apps that you can use from Hoopla and Overdrive. Some of them you may be familiar with and some of them may be new. So please let me know if you have any questions. At any time, just raise your hand or say, hey, Jillian, I've got a question. So anyway, let me get started here, and please let me know if you can see this. Let me share my screen here. Okay. Alrighty. Okay, can everybody see my screen here?
Yes.
Okay, so let me pull this up. Is everybody able to see that? The slide that came up? Great, good. Okay, so this is one of our online classes, and basically, as many of you are probably more comfortable with print books than digital ebooks, this is a new thing still for a lot of people. And certainly print books are not dead. Thanks to COVID, there's actually been more sales of print books than we have seen in many, many years. But sometimes ebooks are more convenient. So the advantages that you're going to find of ebooks, which is what you can find through your library, they're instant. You don't have to leave your home to go anywhere, which is sometimes nice given our current situations. You don't even have to go to your library. You can sit in your favorite chair and download a book. They're portable and lightweight, which is really helpful. Many of you may be fans of authors like Diana Gabaldon, who writes Outlander. And as you may or may not know, her books are doorstops that are about this thick and 900 pages in print. So to have it in an ebook can save your muscles a lot. So it's also a lot more convenient if you need to fly or travel. You don't have to lug huge books with you. You also have no late fees. If you check out a book from your library in an ebook, as you're going to find out, there's no late fees because you check it out, you have it for your 2 weeks or your 3 weeks, or if you extend it the second time, and then it will just automatically delete. You don't have to worry about returning it. You don't have to worry if it gets lost or damaged. It will disappear on its own. Ebooks are also highly customizable. You can choose what print size you want. Unlike a print book, where you might have to go to your library and say, I need to have a large print, or I need to have this particular setup in a certain font. You can now, through an ebook, change the size of your font, change your screen brightness. Decide if you're reading it at night and you don't want to disturb anybody, you can do a black screen with white type. It also saves your eyes. There's many people that debate about that, saying that white screen with black type late at night, the electronic light is more harmful. And so if you change your screen brightness, it actually helps you sleep. So then the first app that we're going to talk about right now is Libby and Overdrive. They're one and the same thing. Libby is made by Overdrive. It can be accessed from your PC or your Mac. So you can access it straight from the library website, as we're going to see in a minute. They offer ebooks and audiobooks. Libby, you can log in from multiple library cards at one time. So if you say, well, I'm a member of Bernalillo County, but I also hold a library card with Edgewood, and I also hold a library card with Santa Fe, you can log in all three of those library cards into Libby and access all of their collections at the same time. So if each one of them is different, I believe even UNM may partner in some of these, and then you can access their library collections as well, all from your phone or your computer. So the app is free to download, and it has the most modern interface. Libby is like the younger sibling to Overdrive. It's new. It is pretty easy to use. So that being said, let me minimize this. And we will go to the public library website. Okay, so this is the Albuquerque Public Library website. You can access this through abqlibrary.org. This is just for the city of Albuquerque. And the city of Albuquerque has a floating library collection, which means that there is 12 or 14 different branches, and they all share the same collection. So if you say, I go to Lomas Tramway, but I want a book that's in North Valley, they will get it sent to you. And that's what that means by a floating collection. There's never just a stationary set of materials in one branch. So if you want to access things from the website, you can see here there's a tab. This green bar shows you everything, this lime green bar. There's one that says downloads. And through downloads, you can see there's all these different things that they subscribe to. Overdrive, which is Libby. You have Naxos Music, which is like an online music catalog. There's Hoopla, which we'll talk about in a little while. There's Freegal, which is also online music. And then there's Cloud Library, which is an older library app that we will talk also about a little bit later. Is there any questions so far? Okay. So then the other thing, if any of you, I don't know if any of you are interested in genealogy or a specific thing, like you want to find out more about your family, you can actually access genealogy records through the public library website. They have some collections to do with that, that you would normally only access through the Genealogy Center. They have some of this now available online. Thanks to COVID, I don't know whether they still have this available here, but they have had throughout the year at different times here. They do have Ancestry available, your Ancestry Library Edition. So you can find out, like ancestry.com, you can actually access this using your library card for free. And it's only going to be available through December 31st of this year. So then other things that you can do, and obviously this tells you there's other different genealogy societies that you can link to and what have you. So if you go back, and I just hit my back arrow to get me back to the main library homepage, this is all located under research. That's in research, you have genealogy, which is how you access Ancestry Library. You have your special collections library, you have different subject guides, and then you have your e-resources and databases. And through that, you have everything on here. You can get into Encyclopedia Britannica. You can get into consumer reports. You can get into auto repair, different things like Chilton's and various other different stuff. So at the top, all you need to do is just search the databases. You can also put in subjects. I'm looking for, and then they have one specific to Albuquerque. They have things that are specific to biographies or history or home and garden. what have you. So, any questions about any of the databases or how you access any of that? Okay. So, if you want to access, let's say, an Overdrive ebook, you can, of course, download Overdrive from your app store if you have an Apple iPhone or an iPad, or your Google Play Store if you have an Android phone or a Samsung. It's free to use, so Libby or Overdrive. If you want to download a book straight from the library website, you can do that. If I type in here, let me just put in Dinah Gabaldon, since we mentioned her earlier, and I search in the top, and it pops up a new tab since I'm, whoops, come on. Here we go. Okay, so this comes up with all of the collection, print and ebook. I can specify on the side here, available in print and online, public library catalog only, or print books only. I can choose what I want to see, and then further down, I can choose I only want to see ebooks. So let's just say I only want to see ebooks, and it will slowly update. Okay, so the first one that pops up is her Outlandish Companion. So we click on that. And then this gives me the whole record for that particular book. And down below it says access ebook. So I click on that, and this is what you will see on your iPhone or your iPad if you want to check out an ebook. And all you have to do is click borrow. If I click borrow here, see, it will ask me to sign in. It wants my library card and it wants my PIN. And once I've signed in, I can borrow the book. And then all I will need to do, I can either read it from here on my computer, or I can get into the app on my phone or my tablet, and I can download it straight from there within the app itself. Any questions about any of that? How you download books, or okay? So this is the same for Overdrive, for Libby. It will ask you each time to sign in, and then you can either read it through your computer or you can read it straight from your device. You will have to re-download it though onto your device. If it's on your computer, it doesn't mean it's automatically on your phone. It's just borrowed to your account. So you will have to get into your app and download it from there. Okay, so this is the library record for Hoopla, or I mean for Overdrive or for Libby. This is how they all come out. Same thing goes for audiobooks. They work with either ebook or audiobook. So let me go back here to come on. Here we go. Okay. So this is Libby. And if you talk about Overdrive, I mentioned that they're basically the same. Overdrive is this one. It is what many of you may be the most familiar with. You may have that app on your phone or your iPad or your other tablet. It's the older of the apps. It has been around, I believe, for close to 15 or 18 years. It's been around for quite a long time, since they very first came out with an app on the oldest version of a cell phone or a computer. This was it. This is just the newer version. So same things apply. Only thing about Overdrive is Libby, you can access it through multiple libraries. Overdrive is only one library. So you can only log into Overdrive with one card at a time. And this is what the Overdrive page will look like on your computer. If you go to overdrive.com, you can find a library and you can sign in. This is the same thing that will come up if you download the Overdrive app to your device. It will ask you to find a library and sign in, and then it will ask for your library card number and your PIN, and then you're logged in. You'll get this kind of a page. You can either sign in through email address and password, or you can sign in using your library card. Like it says here, find your library, that's up here. And it doesn't matter because Albuquerque is a floating catalog, as I mentioned, but they still kind of want to know for the library metrics. That's all important. They want to know how many people come in each day and how many patrons sign in using their app because it's for grant funding, all important federal funding. So you have to choose a branch and then you can just click go and you're in. Any other questions about Overdrive or Libby? Okay, so then the next going on.
May I ask a question?
Sure thing.
Hi, this is Yolanda. I've used Overdrive and for audiobooks. And what happens is it asks me if I want to download and I say yes. And then the chapters never download. Why would that happen? I mean, like I might get 1 out of 10 chapters to download. And the whole book doesn't download.
Well, the only thing that I can think of, are you downloading it on your computer or are you downloading it on your device?
It's an Apple iPad.
Okay. Is it just that it looks like it's one giant file that's downloaded? Because a lot of these, what it will ask is you need to go up to where it says chapters and then you click on each individual one separately. It will just download one file, but then within that one file, it's broken up. Does that make any sense?
Yeah, it does make sense. I have seen an arrow, I believe, at the top that's green or gray. And when it's green, it looks like it's down. As a matter of fact, it says downloading. Next to each chapter, it says downloading, but it never actually happens. I don't know if it's a bad connection, maybe.
Maybe you need to update your Overdrive app itself.
Okay.
Because I know they've had some glitches with that. You can do that by getting into your iOS app store. For any of you who have like a Samsung device, I'm sure it works the same under your Google Play Store where it will say updates. And then there's probably like a little update symbol next to your Overdrive under that list of all your downloaded apps. It will say update, and then you can update it and it should hopefully fix that glitch.
Okay.
I know one of the last updates they did fixed glitches like that. They were having some issues with it.
Okay, I'll try that. Thanks.
Sure thing, of course. Okay, any other questions about Libby or Overdrive or downloading books or? Okay, so then moving on, the next app that we're going to get to here, which some of you may or may not be familiar with, is Hoopla. Hoopla is a newer app. It is one of the largest digital library platforms. I believe there's like 500,000 titles or something like that you have access to through Hoopla. It's only available in the US and in Canada, where I believe Overdrive and Libby, there may be even some international libraries who use them. You can download ebooks, audiobooks, music, movies, TV series. The only downside to Hoopla is Overdrive or Libby. As you probably all know, you can download a title, and then if you say 2 days later, I finished it, I was on a flight and I read the entire thing, you can return it and then you still have like 12 more checkouts you can do. Hoopla, you only have 10 per month, and it doesn't matter if you returned your titles, it counts down from each one you've checked out and each one that you have extended. So if I have a book or a movie and I say I checked that one out and I extended it, it takes that off of my total of number of checkouts. They do this because Libby and Overdrive, you could wait months if a book is particularly popular. You could wait a long time to get a hold of it. Hoopla, it's instant. You never have waiting lists. You never have lines. If something shows up there, if it's a movie, if it's a CD, if it's a book, you can check it out right away. So the other negative to it, it only is available for iOS 11 if you have an Apple device, iPhone, iPad, or later. And it's same thing with Google Play. It's only available for later editions of it, probably because it's so media heavy. All right, so then let me make this smaller here, and we will go back to, okay, let me get out of that and go into Hoopla. So this is the main page for Hoopla. When you get into it, you can sign into Hoopla from the top of your screen, which is up here. If you get into your, the little gear symbol up here, since I'm signed in, it will tell me to log out. But normally it will say log in if I am not logged into this site. So if I want to get into my Hoopla, and you can access this through hoopladigital.com. That is the website you're looking for. You can browse through just about anything. They will recommend different movies to you if you're interested in movies. You can look under Browse here on the top. Under My Hoopla, you'll see currently borrowed, favorites, and history of what you've checked out in the past. If you look under Browse, you have audiobooks, movies, music, comics, ebooks, and television shows. So if I get into audiobooks, I can, of course, search under everything. If there's a particular author that I'm really interested in and I want to see if they have his or her latest, I can also see what they're showing is like the latest, most popular books that people are checking out.
Oh, that very popular Netflix series, Jillian, The Queen's Gambit.
Uh-huh.
I didn't realize that started as a novel.
Yeah, it started as a novel, exactly. And then it went from novel into Netflix, as a lot of things. So if I click on that, of course, it tells me a little bit about it, and it will actually give me similar artists, similar authors. And then you can check it out from here. It's available for 21 days after you borrow it. And if you haven't finished it in that time, you can hit renew once you're like, I think it's 24 hours or less before it's going to return. So these are all of the audiobooks, and obviously their collection is huge. You can get into data added. You can find out the language it's in. They have them in German, Chinese, French, Spanish, probably lots of other different languages. You can also choose only children's books if you're a grandparent or a parent and you're looking for a child in your family. You can also exclude any abridged books. So if there's a classic book and you don't want to see the abridged one, you'll only get the full length one. So those are their audiobooks. The same thing applies for movies. And they have some of their most popular Hollywood films. There's also a lot of B movies that come up, as you can see. A lot of like Hallmark Christmas movies will show up here if anybody needs their Christmas fix. But if I click on one, and let's just click on Girl with a Pearl Earring, as you can see, it says here that you can borrow it. It tells you who's in it. It tells you basically what it's about, what categories it's in. Now, most movies are only available for 2 or 3 days. So if you check one out, you have to kind of know, hey, I've only got it for 2 days, and then I have to return it. And it will automatically return it on its own. You don't have to do anything. It will just poof, magically vanish from your app or your account. So like I said earlier, no worry about late fees or losing it. And this is that way with any movies. They have some that are, as you can see, like Hollywood kind of movies. And then they have others that are, you know, not, that are more B movies. So, and they have the same thing with ebooks. They have comic books. There's music. Music is available for 1 week. So you have movies that are available for 2 or 3 days. Music is 1 week and books are 21 days. And, you know, as you can see here, they have all sorts of things, even the Hamilton soundtrack. As I know, Trish, I believe you were really listening to that one. So you can check it out from Hoopla. It's right there. They have the soundtrack for The Greatest Showman and lots of other things. All depending on what your taste is. You can search for it up here.
Jillian, I apologize because I'm having to work while I watch. One question, is Hoopla kind of the same thing as Libby and Overdrive then?
Hoopla is unique in the sense that Libby and Overdrive are only for books, either audiobooks or ebooks.
Okay.
They do have very few like educational type movies, but not a lot. Whereas Hoopla is all geared toward media, your music, your movies, your TV shows. You know, and like I said, the other thing that sets it apart, the other ones, you could have long wait times. If you have a popular book, if the latest Nora Roberts book comes out and everybody wants it, you could wait 3 months to get a hold of it. Whereas on this one, if they happen to have that same book, you can instantly check it out.
Okay.
So that is the difference.
Okay.
Any other questions about navigating Hoopla or checking things out on the Hoopla website? Okay, and obviously there's even television series. The only thing about television series through them is, as you can see, if I get into Doc Martin, you have to check out each episode individually. You do not get to check out the entire series as a whole. You have to check out each file on its own. And each one will go against your checkouts for the month. So this is Hoopla. And if I go back to my slides here, obviously, this is what you'll see if you're not signed into your Hoopla account. It will ask for your email and your password and ask you to log in. You can also sign up in the same place. If you're on your device and you download the Hoopla app, which is free to use, it will ask for your Bernalillo County or Santa Fe library card. I don't know, are all of you accessing the Bernalillo County library system or? Okay, all right. Because I was going to say, if you're joining in from like the East Mountains, Edgewood, we sadly do not yet participate in Hoopla. We only participate in Libby Overdrive. So it depends on which one your library signs up for. Okay, so if there's no other questions about Hoopla, we'll get to the next library app, which is Kindle. That's probably something you guys are also very familiar with. Some of you may even have a Kindle Fire or a Kindle Paperwhite to download books to. Kindle is also an app that you can get for free for your iPhone or your Android phone or your tablet or your Mac for that matter. So it's probably one of the largest. Over 40,000 public libraries around the world offer ebooks via Kindle. So it isn't just this country, it is internationally as well, probably because Amazon is international. It is arguably the largest digital library, and you have the largest access to self-pub books. So if you have possibly a friend even that self-published a book, there may be a chance that it's available in a Kindle, but probably not through the others. You need to visit your library website to download a Kindle book. That is the one negative to it. In all of the other apps that we just saw, you can get on your phone and get into your app and download something directly from the app, be it Hoopla, be it Overdrive Libby. Kindle, you have to go into the library website that we saw earlier, go through the process of borrowing the book, and then it will take you into your Amazon Kindle account, and you have to download it from there. So it's a little bit of a roundabout. If you have a Kindle device itself, it may be a little bit simpler, but if you are accessing this from a non-Kindle and just through the app, you have to get into your Amazon account. It is free to download. And like I said, you have full access through iOS, Google Play, Windows, and your Apple. So any questions about downloading a Kindle? I myself do not have a Kindle, I just have the app. So sadly, I cannot show you what the interface looks like on the Kindle itself. Any other questions about that? Okay. So then the last app that we're going to get to is something some of you may or may not have heard of. Albuquerque does subscribe to it, but it's very limited. It's called 3M Cloud Library. And as you saw, let me just minimize this. When I was in the public library website, under downloads, you see Cloud Library at the top. And it will take you to the different offerings on Cloud Library, which is more limited than any of the other apps. It is sort of, I don't want to say that they're abandoning it, but they don't update it as frequently as they update a lot of the other ones. This has probably some of the more indie titles on it. It doesn't have as big a collection of nonfiction or children's as some of the others. They're working with it slowly. So if you want to do this, you can search it from the top. You can also get into recently added, or you can get into browse. All they have is books. They do not do any media at all. So all you have is ebooks and some audiobooks. It is mostly for ebooks. And as you can see, if you hit browse, you can find fantasy or historical, literary fiction, any of the stuff that's popular or what have you. So that is Cloud Library. It's also free to download. You can only access through one library at a time, one library card at a time. And this is what the app will look like on your device. So that is the last app that Albuquerque subscribes to at this time. So is there any other questions or things that you want to learn about your library or navigating your library website, how to search, or what you can access or get into? The thing that's wonderful about any of these apps is it really does put so much material at your fingertips without having to leave the library or your home. Obviously, with our current lockdown situations that we've had. They've shut many of the libraries off and on. They are currently open again, which is nice, but you are not really encouraged to hang out there. It's more you can pick up your holds and you can check something out and then leave. So, which is sad for those of us who like to go in there quite often. So there's a lot that's being missed, but that's what makes all of these ebook and social platforms rather nice, because you can access it from your home. So any other questions? Okay.
No, I think it's just going in and hands-on and maneuvering through to get familiar with it.
Well,
but
that's
great information. This is so helpful.
I hope so. I mean, please tell me if I went too fast or if there's something else that I skipped over that you wanted to know more about. Hoopla is probably the one that a lot of people get the most from, because they have most of the TV shows or the movies. They have the more, you know, gimmicky things that a lot of us would say, oh, gee, I really would like to see that on like a weekend, you know. Chances are they have it. And they do a lot of fun things like movies of the month, where they will specify like this month it's thrillers or this month it's whatever historical, and they'll pick like 10 titles that they kind of highlight. And they just offer the most, even as far as music and other things. So, well, if there's no other questions, as far as accessing your library, one thing I can say as far as our current situation with the library, if you get onto abqlibrary.org, this gray bar that's in the main part of your screen will give you any of the latest information as far as which branches are shut, what's going on, what times they're open for each week, because they've had a lot of staffing emergencies going on. They're very short-staffed. And so quite often they'll say, oh, sorry, but South Broadway is shut, or, you know, whatever, Erna Ferguson is closed for this and this day. So this will always give you the latest of what's happening.
Good to know. Jillian, one of the things that I think, and I'm curious if Kathy and Bessie and Yolanda would agree, is sometimes just seeing someone else bring up the website or the app for us. You know, it's kind of like, maybe we can figure it out once we get there, but even just having someone else show us, this is what it is, this is where you press things, don't you think?
Yeah, it's very valuable.
Thank you, Jillian.
It is so good.
Yeah, absolutely. This is wonderful. Thank you.
You're very welcome. I hope, you know, any and all of you get a chance to really play around with the different apps and the website and see what you can come up with. There's so much that's available that, you know, you ordinarily couldn't do or have such easy access to without wait times. So that makes it really nice.
Thank you.
Sure thing. Well, thank you all for joining me today.
You.
Thank
Much
you.
appreciated.
Great class. Appreciate it.
Yay. Okay.
Thanks.
It
Bye.
was great seeing all of you guys. So hope you have a great rest of your day navigating the weather and everything out there. So stay dry.
Thanks, everyone. Reach out if you need us.
I'll see you guys later. Thank you so much. Bye-bye.
Bye.